Imagine a book so powerful, it's banned in an entire country. That book is The King Never Smiles. In Thailand, just owning it is a crime. Why? Because it questions the story of the country's most powerful figure, King Bhumibol Adulyadej. The government calls it lies, an insult to the royal family, and wants it erased. But this book isn't just a story, it's an investigation into the life of a king seen as a god. For 70 years, King Bhumibol's image was everywhere, his respect unquestioned. The King Never Smiles pulls back the curtain, showing a man behind the myth. It explores power, politics, and secrets the public was never meant to see. In Thailand, strict lèse-majesté laws make criticizing the monarchy dangerous, punishable by years in prison. This book breaks that taboo on every page, asking, was the king truly above politics? Did the palace always act for the people? These questions got the book banned instantly, yet the story still matters, because the monarchy's role in Thailand is still evolving. Young Thais today are asking the same questions the book raised years ago. The King Never Smiles started a conversation the government can't silence. This is the story of that book, the king it revealed, and the country it changed. Who risked everything to write this book? Paul Handley, an American journalist. He spent 13 years in Thailand, reporting for the Far Eastern Economic Review. Handley saw things that didn't match the official story: palace involvement in business, politics, and key decisions. The king was always shown as perfect, but Handley saw a different reality. He wanted the world to know the full story of King Bhumibol. Writing the book meant exile from Thailand and anger from its government. Handley spent years researching, speaking secretly with officials, business leaders, and palace insiders. He pieced together a complex puzzle, aiming for an honest biography, not a fairy tale. The result: The King Never Smiles. The title hints at a king always serious, always guarding his power. Handley's goal was to show the king as human, ambitious, political, and flawed. He believed the God-King myth held Thailand back from true democracy. The book challenges the smiling images, revealing the complex truth. Handley dared to tell a story no one else would. His work became a catalyst for debate. The risks were enormous, but the impact was greater. One book, one voice, changing how a nation sees its king. To understand the controversy, you need to know King Bhumibol. Born in the US, raised in Switzerland, he never expected to be king. His older brother King Ananda died mysteriously in 1946. Bhumibol became king at just 18. He returned to Thailand, married Sirikit, and began a reign that lasted 70 years. King Bhumibol became the face of Thailand, his image everywhere, his birthday a national holiday. He traveled the country, launched thousands of royal projects, and was called the father of the nation. The palace, with help from the army and government, built a myth: Bhumibol, as a living saint, a bodhisattva. To be Thai was to love the king. This image made him untouchable, more than a man, almost divine. But behind the scenes, the king's life was marked by tragedy, pressure, and immense responsibility. The world changed around him: wars, technology, social upheaval, but he remained a constant. The myth grew stronger, making criticism unthinkable. This is the image Paul Handley's book would challenge. The King Never Smiles asks, what was the real cost of this myth? Was the king truly above politics, or was he shaping the nation from behind the scenes? The answers would shake Thailand's understanding of its own history. The story of Bhumibol is the story of modern Thailand, and it's far more complicated than the official version. Officially, Thailand's king is a constitutional monarch, above politics. But The King Never Smiles argues King Bhumibol was deeply involved in shaping the country's direction. He used his influence and moral authority, especially during crises. In 1973, when students protested for democracy, the king sheltered them and ended a dictatorship. He was hailed as a hero. But the book reveals a darker side. After 1973, the palace supported right-wing groups to counter communism and student power. This led to the 1976 Thammasat University massacre. Hundreds killed, the army returned, and the king approved. Democracy was crushed. In 1992, during Black May, the king again intervened, ending violence and restoring peace. Each time, he was seen as the nation's savior. But Handley's book asks, was the king protecting democracy or preserving royal power? The palace's quiet influence shaped who ruled, which laws passed, and how crises ended. The king's hand was always present even if unseen. The myth said he was above politics. The reality, Handley argues, was far more complicated. The king's interventions changed the course of Thai history. The book challenges the idea of a passive monarch. It shows a king who was a master political player. This is why the book remains so controversial. It questions the very foundation of Thailand's modern story. What's life really like inside the palace? The King Never Smiles reveals a world of power, wealth, and strategy. The Crown Property Bureau manages royal assets, making the monarchy one of the world's richest. This wealth gives the palace independence and influence over government and business. A network of loyalists, the Deep State, works behind the scenes to protect royal interests. The Privy Council, military, and business elites all serve the throne first. Inside, life is tense and strictly controlled, with family conflicts hidden from public view. The book challenges the perfect image, showing the royal family as human, complex, pressured, and sometimes divided. The palace's power is built on secrecy and myth. Handley's book exposes the reality behind the golden walls. The King Never Smiles is famous for its explosive secrets. It re-examines the mysterious death of King Ananda, suggesting an accidental shooting, covered up to protect Bhumibol. This claim alone was enough to outrage Thailand. The book also challenges the king's public image, portraying him as serious, ambitious, and deeply political. The title reflects a king burdened by power, not a smiling saint. Handley reveals the monarchy's close ties with the US during the Cold War. The king used American support to strengthen his position and fight communism. These revelations show a king far more involved in global politics than most realized. The book questions the official history taught in schools. It exposes the gap between myth and reality. For many, these secrets were a wake-up call. The book's impact was immediate and lasting. The reaction was swift. The Thai government banned The King Never Smiles before it was even released. The book was labeled a threat to national security. Websites mentioning it were blocked, and owning a copy could mean arrest. Officials called it lies, the media echoed the outrage, and the author was branded an enemy. But the ban only fueled curiosity. Thais found ways to read it, smuggled copies, digital downloads, secret discussions. The book became forbidden knowledge, an underground bestseller. The crackdown highlighted the power of lèse-majesté laws, used to silence any discussion. People were jailed for sharing or even talking about the book. The government's response showed just how sensitive the monarchy remains. The attempt to erase the book only made it more influential. The King Never Smiles became a symbol of resistance to censorship. It exposed the limits of free speech in Thailand, and it made the world pay attention. After the book's release, King Bhumibol reigned for another decade, passing away in 2016. His death ended an era, and his son King Vajiralongkorn took the throne. The questions raised by The King Never Smiles became more urgent. The book didn't disappear. It became essential reading for scholars, journalists, and activists. Inside Thailand, it was a symbol of resistance, discussed in secret and online. A new internet-savvy generation began to question the official story. In 2020, youth-led protests openly challenged the monarchy for the first time. Their demands echoed the book's arguments, calling for reform, transparency, and accountability. The King Never Smiles gave them language and history for their movement. The banned book's influence could be heard in the streets. Social media spread its ideas, breaking through censorship. The book became part of a larger push for change. Its echo is shaping Thailand's future. Today, The King Never Smiles is more than a banned book. It's a symbol of the fight for truth and free speech. It shows what happens when power is protected from criticism, and myth replaces reality. For 70 years, the king's image kept Thailand stable, but also stifled democracy. The book's lesson, real progress requires questioning even the most sacred institutions. Thailand's ongoing political conflict is a battle over which story will define the nation, obedience or democracy. For the world, it's a reminder of why press freedom matters. Handley's outsider perspective sparked a global conversation. The book's banning is a warning about the dangers of censorship. The story isn't over. Young Thais are still demanding change. One book, one voice, can ignite a movement. The king is gone, but the questions remain.